This episode is proudly brought to you in association with the Winston Pub, Durban, Wild and Ma, a division of Tom's Sound and Music, and Sure, Sound Extraordinary. Yeah, so we are off to a great start. Bob has he's just slashed my name for the name choice of this podcast.
You said from the get-go it's a horrible name, so I'm just confirming what you said.
Oh, well, we did say in the messages that you're going to be honest, and we expect nothing less. Welcome to today's episode, everybody, which after yesterday's Balls Up, I'm expecting to be the first episode because of technical shortcomings. Right, Moss?
Bro, I know all about those. Like, the first 2 episodes of my podcast don't actually exist. Well, they're there, but they were never released because, technical difficulties.
Hey, bro, like, we all got to start somewhere. But I'm just, sorry. I'm a bit trepidatious now, like, if the camera does
It's actually working.
It's actually working, yeah. You invest so much in this equipment, and then it still lets you down, so...
That's why I got audio only, bro.
Hey, Bob is he's having a field day with me today. Huh? He's First, he just denigrates my name choice, and I was like, "Yo, bro, audio only, yo, don't."
No, it's just because I'm lazy. Like,
Okay.
It just makes my life a lot easier. It makes everything so much easier to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, editing audio versus editing video plus audio together. No, thank you. So,
and you know what?
Big ups to you.
Oh, thank you. We're coming back. Okay. Welcome to the show, Bob. Today's guest, ladies and gentlemen, a very distinguished guest we have here today, in as far as someone who has contributed to the cultural fabric of Durban, a former curator and founder of Durban Is Yours, an online magazine that profiles and looks at the various cultural vibes going on in the city. Someone who I've also met at the Winston and have come to associate very strongly with this place.
For better or worse.
Every Wednesday night, I'm sure most people who are in the vibes do remember Wednesday night stand-up comedy. Someone who's helped
the
build...
20 people or so that
bro,
ever knew about it.
It was still like super legendary. Like, it was my escape, especially when I was like deep in my studies. I was so deep. There was only one place I would come here during the week. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Darren Scott, a.k.a. Bob Perfect.
Your government names
Oh.
blowing me up here. I'm going to have to change my cell phone number again.
Oh, bro, you didn't realize that I'm a reader, eh? I do my research.
Yeah, I know. It's not a secret.
Okay.
Like that, our real name shares the same name as a racist, so I had to change it.
Sure. Yeah, that's also an aspect of your personality I'm going to reserve for later for you to explore and explain, as your very strong morality and ethical backbone.
In some cases. There's also other cases where I'm not at all moral or ethical, so...
We're all human.
Yeah.
We're all human. Because Bob, I also want a Savannah. I shouldn't say that. No.
Just want to drink.
Yeah, so... Man, it's so nice to have you here, especially after like the year that we've had, and also I still find you to be also as cantankerous, but also very generous to people that are trying things, and whether it's through your writing or just your social networks. I've seen you contribute and be very generous to people who are just trying to make things happen. And in the same vein as I am trying to get this going, I have to extend my deepest thanks, man. Thank you for coming.
Well, of course, bro. Like, thank you for inviting me. It's nice when someone recognizes, what you do and says, "Hey, let's talk about that."
But I feel like Bob is like the first like slightly famous person we got on the show.
That's a very maybe Durban famous, which isn't famous at all. Like, it's the least famous you could possibly be.
Yeah, man. So you are from Umbilo, right?
Yeah.
Born and bred.
Well, bred, not born. I was born in Joburg Gen Hospital.
Okay.
But moved here when I was about 1 year old. So
right.
I don't really remember that time. Can't tell you about my life in Joburg.
Yeah.
So yeah, Umbilo bred for sure.
Okay. And there there seems to be this long association with you, with you in the scene, whether it's like music or stand up comedy. Where would you say in your youth this began? Like, where did you start going to shows and seeing people on stage and stuff?
I think probably about 14 was probably the first time I went to a show. If I remember correctly, I think it was at the Mandine. No, it wasn't Mandine Sports Club. It was a sports club here in Manor Gardens. I can't remember what it's called right now. I actually think it is Mandine Sports Club. They had a pirate party, and they had like these punk bands. I think Misled played, Sibling Rivalry played. They were, just a bunch of punk bands. And I'd been given a flyer to it, I think at a skate park. I can't remember if it was Pavilion or if it was on the beachfront. But before that, I just read about everything in Blood Magazine. And then
Magazine, what?
Yeah, Blood Magazine is like the foundation for so much of like who I am, to be completely honest. Like Blood Magazine, SL Magazine, and then eventually like the internet and Vice and various other like, underground culture, like youth culture kind of media outlets, like very much helped me discover myself and like know that there was other things in the world, not just what was presented to me on the TV or at school and what people like, there were like, because I always felt kind of at odds with what was presented to me. So I saw that, and then someone handed me a flyer and I went to a show and I was like, cool, this is my life. Like, this is everything I want out of everything, especially when you're like 14, like seeing drunk punks, like screaming on a stage is just like everything. It's just like, holy, this is real. Like the stuff I saw in like the movies is actually a thing I can be a part of. So I'd say that's basically when it started.
14 though is pretty young, man.
Yeah, I've been coming here since I was 15.
Oh my goodness.
I once
PG
did the door.
PG.
I once was doing the door here when I was 16, asking people for ID. It was hilarious.
Goodness gracious, bro. My question is, how were you like out and about at such a young age? Were your parents just very liberal? Or?
Well, I've only got like the one parent basically. Like my dad's a deadbeat, like kind of situation. But my mom worked 2 jobs, and I would lie to her. So quite honestly, like I'm going to someone else's house. I'm sleeping over here. I'm doing this or. Eventually like told her when I was about 16, 17, hey, I'm doing this thing. And she was like, hey, if you go to jail, I'm not like bailing you out. So I was like, okay.
Oh, deal. It's like handle your scandal kind of thing.
If you get to cuck, you're in cuck. Like, and I was like, okay. I mean, I feel nowadays that maybe she would have like actually, come bailed me out. Yeah. But we never got there.
Basically, like it was a white lady saying, oxalayo. Like, what will be.
Yeah. Like, you live your life, like you make your choices.
Okay.
And she's always given me like a lot of freedom, but gave me a good, I'd say, like grounding.
Yeah.
Like, my mom taught me to read before I even went to school, and like we've had a deep love of literature that, we've shared together. So
nice, man. Nice. Yeah. That's beautiful. My mom used to be an English teacher, so
Same.
right up until I wrote a master's thesis, she was there. Like, oh, your punctuation is wrong, and your
you
prose,
need a comma there. You need
your prose
dash.
is like off, and gosh, it's.
Yeah, I don't think my mom's read much of my work, but like my family's like, cool, do your thing, but we're not like really going to like bug you about it, because I don't think they would like it. Like, like we've discussed it before that like, my mom's been to one of my comedy shows and she enjoyed it, but no, she's been to 2 now. The second one sucked. I was so bad.
Oh,
like the
shame.
first one was actually quite good.
You bombed, Dixie.
I died so hard, like in front of like, because I had all this pressure on me as well, because it was like, oh, my mom's coming, and it's like been years since my first show.
Yeah.
And like was like, so I had like all this pressure. And it was in Joburg. It was at a Marvel Comedy Club. So like there were other comedians there who hadn't seen me before. So like all of that starts playing on your mind. There was a small crowd. And I just sucked. And like, it was bad.
Sure.
But
Melville too, eh?
Yeah, but like since then I went and did like a week-long run like at Melville, and like only the one night was average. The rest were all good. So like I redeemed myself. Like Joburg, like I have so much fun when I do comedy there, because I feel like, all the practice that you have here sucking at the Winston like pays off when you go somewhere where people actually appreciate what you do,
Hey, shame. That's is that like a That's a jab right there to Durban people. But I think Durban people are well aware that we even with international shows, we don't show up the best, and we don't.
No, like it's the unfortunate thing. It's the unfortunate truth about the city is that it's just not supported by the people in it necessarily.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Like I think people are more concerned with the jaw than with art. Like they want to party, they want to let go, and that's probably because of the times we live in, and people want to be more nihilistic and just hedonistic, I guess, rather than intellectual and go and like listen to people pontificate in funny ways about how much life sucks, like.
No, I think you'd rather just be having a beer at that time and talking about dreams that will never come true to your best friend.
That's exactly it. Like that's exactly it. Like even the musicians would rather like go do something else than like watch another band,
Oh,
sometimes.
Yes, you told me in the comments like when we were messaging each other, I was expecting you to be honest that this is brutal, man.
It's not brutal, it's the truth. Like it is just the way it is. It's unfortunate, but I've grown to accept it now. Like I tried to do a lot in Durban to change things, and a lot of people told me like you're not going to change anything, and like I don't feel like I have, but like I feel like I at least made like an impact and like
just
helped
inroads, like
helped the scene carry on, basically, and just helped document some stuff at certain points and just like contributed. But my idea was like I thought things would grow a lot bigger, but in some ways it has, in lots of different avenues and a lot of different aspects, just not necessarily in the fields that I work in or worked in, I guess.
I mean, that's what Durban is Yours was an attempt at, right?
Yeah. It was an attempt
I
think cool. It actually, in a way, like did work in that. Like the idea was to legitimize like the band scene in Durban, the music scene in Durban, and to give it credibility by giving it coverage. Because the other websites, weren't really paying attention to what was happening here. But we knew. We were at the shows. There were hundreds of people at shows.
Yes, I mean,
like there was a period in Durban, like in the 2000s, like 2008 probably to about 2012, maybe 2005 to 2012. Like things were like peaking. It was.
Yeah, I mean, I caught the tail end of that with my brother joining Beyond the Pale, which was. He was the only person of color there. I mean, I don't want to put that card in there.
No,
but
for sure. But like at the same time, there were crossovers between scenes. Like there were like, especially within the punk shows, like punk and hip hop shows, there would be a lot of like crossover and stuff like that. And with Durban is Yours, we eventually tried to like, because I mean, I came up in the punk and hardcore scene, so it's more white and stuff. But I grew up listening to hip hop as well, and so slowly but surely, you start getting these inroads into other scenes. You start getting these crossovers between people. You start making these connections. And I think maybe that's something that's definitely improved and had like a decent effect over the last, I don't know however long I've been in the scene, but like stuff's changed in that way where I think the music scene's a lot more integrated now than when I started, which is cool.
Yeah, shots. The crossover, as you say, was happening in dubs, and there was particular artists I remember when I was still like around in varsity. Raheem came, and he's got this presence and skill set that obviously draws a huge crowd. And the second time I saw him, there were like a few riffs of guitar and stuff in there, like with distortion.
Yeah, well, Raheem was with Tree Houses by the Sea, which was like just a cool collective of pretty diverse musicians all coming together. And Durban's now kind of become known for that, like in a weird way. Like,
really?
Yeah, dude. Like you look at like
Dude,
a lot of.
You are the master, not me. Like I don't know the underbelly and all of that.
No, like I think there's a lot of like the UKZN jazz cats like that come and then mold with the the Winston cats, the bedroom guys. The people who are. Just fiddling, playing along to Dragon Force or whatever it is. They meet
Dragon
up with
Force.
Someone who, has been learning jazz at UKZN. And then...
Yes, you're lucky I know what Dragon Force is.
We're at the Winston. I should hope so. But so those people start coming together in spaces like this. It used to be like the Bat Center and that.
Yeah.
And you get cool crossovers. You get people, because people get bored when they're in their own genres for too long. Like you see almost everyone that was in like a punk band or a hardcore band or whatever band it was they were in that they started in, or hip hop projects or whatever, they move on, like with their next project. They start something else. They try and experiment and they try to do different stuff.
Yeah.
And that's been the cool thing. I think I've seen a lot of decent bands in Durban do that. Like they start out being like an average punk band, and then they break up, and then whatever comes out of that, you know, it's like something pretty cool.
Where everyone just goes and explores their own tastes and
with other people and
proclivities. So music, obviously, for me, as far as I can tell, music's been a longer part of your life. But then there was this switch or sort of this interest in comedy that came later. Could you share how that happened?
I mean, I've always been interested in comedy since I was a kid. I used to tape, like, I don't know if you remember on Mnet, they would do the comedy specials. Like, you know, I saw Chris Rock. Bill Maher. Who else? Ellen DeGeneres even. Like, they had, like, all these
Degenerates.
Yeah, they had all these people's specials and stuff like that on there. So I used to tape those and watch those religiously. So, and then after that, you know, once you get a computer, but this was back in the day, you know, like none of us, we didn't grow up with computers in the house, you know, like our parents didn't have computers.
Speak for yourself, bro. My buddy's a computer programmer.
Yes, okay, fair enough. For everyone else,
I was playing snakes when I was 2.
Lucky you. I used to like take a floppy disk of Pokemon Red to my grand's house so I could play on her computer on like Windows 2000. So
that's an OG. This is an OG. Don't worry, we sanitized. It's cool. This is an OG. He takes Pokemon flop.
Using emulators back then, dude.
Names.
On Windows ME, Windows 2000.
Yes.
I had Dune 2000, I think, also on the same floppy disk.
Yo, no wonder your excitement for this Dune movie is like so palpable.
Oh yeah, dude. Yo. Like my first touch of Dune was the game. Like I only read the book when I was much older. Like I started reading it in high school.
All right. Sweet. So yeah, you said the comedy thing was much later, and then you got the computer, and then what happened?
Well, yeah, from there, you know, you start sharing stuff with friends. You know, you start getting videos with the Comedy Central, you know, half-hour specials essentially, and then Mitch Hedberg was like probably, one of the big ones. It was just like, damn, like this is so different, this is so cool, like. Someone like him could do it. Maybe I could do it, you know? Like, before that, it was just like watching people like Chris Rock and George Carlin and just going, there's no way I could ever do that.
Yeah, the reason I'm here is because of Matt Diavella. Like, I saw this guy on YouTube who's a filmmaker and has like a podcast set up. Like, the reason I'm doing everything I'm doing is just because I saw that one video and I was like, shit, this guy's so slick. You know? I'm trying to get my stuff on Netflix, and I am with the same like lighting and mics and whatever. I'm not there. I'm probably not there yet, like same level, but I'm trying.
Yeah, getting there bit by bit. And that's the whole thing with life. It's like, it is just this constant, but like, okay, the thing that I hate about that, you know, the whole constant progression thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what if you just die tomorrow? They're like, this whole time you're trying to progress to something, but you know, like, what's the point? Like,
you talk about nihilism. Yes, sis.
I don't know. I've got to more the absurdism point of things. I read Camus, you know.
You know who's got that same outlook like you is Bill Burr.
Relatively, we disagree on some things, but I like Bill Burr quite a bit.
Yeah, he can be a bit rough sometimes. Yeah, I think that's his brand though. That's just his vibe.
Yeah, like I can't call anyone else out for being too abrasive, you know.
Yeah, and the scene, bruh, like music, comedy, you've given so much of yourself. Sometimes I feel like not enough acknowledgement. I'm not going to say praise, but not enough acknowledgement is given to you for your time, your energy, all the things you've put together.
I think I get acknowledgement from people on the ground.
Yeah.
Like from people who it's impacted, from people who, I've written about or I've given stage time to or I've booked gigs for or whatever it is, you know, like a lot of the time those people thank me. A lot of the time those people have great things to say about me. But yeah, in general, the industries tend to not like me just because I'm honest, like genuinely. Like I say what I think and feel and I call stuff out and I'm not part of the get-along gang, you know?
Yeah.
As much as I want to like, you know, do things that help, it's also I see how the things might not, like, just I see things and go, I think that's you know?
Yeah.
And then when you do that enough times, people eventually go, that guy. So
yeah, where did this moral spine come from?
Well, like I've
very,
said,
very strong, like ethical.
it depends, like, you know, like on what you mean by that, because my morality ebbs and flows just as much as anyone else's, like in terms of like what I think is moral, I guess, or and I've crossed my own lines at times. So it's more just, it's not like ethical is probably the right term then. It's just like I hate capitalism, dude. Like I just hate the way it's made us. I hate the competitive nature of a lot of things. I mean, I love competition, but I hate competition in art. Like I think it's fucking pathetic. Like, why are we competing against each other for art? It's personal expression, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing. And how we've commodified a lot of the stuff that shouldn't necessarily be commodified. So when I see people doing certain things that like are basically for money and I think will be hurtful to the progress of things, I call it out. But then everyone wants money. I'm like the only one who's busy thinking this way. You know, everyone else is like, you're up her bag, dog. Like, so I don't know. Like, but it's something like, yeah, since I was young, I mean, I grew up in Mbilo where there is inequality, you know, like, so you do see how the world works. Like, you know, like I grew up on Mbilo Road. And you walk up to Freer Road, and then you walk up to the next road, and the houses
just get better,
drastically change.
Yeah, they just get better.
Know?
Yeah.
And I remember just being like 13 and thinking about this stuff. You know, like their lives are so much better, and they're just one road up. And how is this possible? How are people living in shacks? And so all of those kind of things like played on me since I was young. And then, you know, like I got into Che Guevara and like Rage Against the Machine and that sort of stuff. And like ever since then, it's just been this long journey of just finding different things and listening and hearing and just, justice and all of that, you know.
So the intellectual for you has been part of the musical.
Yeah, definitely. Like 100%. Music's a big part of like my political and intellectual and ideological framing of the world.
Man, I'm just listening to you and I'm thinking you would definitely fit into the red corner.
Into them?
Because man, I'm just thinking you would definitely fit into the red corner at campus.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What was that corner like?
The radical corner, you know.
Okay.
Red beret, like.
Oh, okay. Hey, man, I've been voted the FF most of the time, like since they've been around. But
yeah, there's very few people who actually openly say who they voted for.
Well, I mean, whatever. Like, I don't really care. Like, who knows it? Like, I might change my vote next time. Like, you know, if there's ever the opportunity for them to actually take power, maybe I will reconsider it. But at the moment, it makes sense to try and get them more seats.
The thing people don't realize about voting, even if it's like they say it's the lesser of two evils, there is no other choice. So you'd rather just go.
I mean, there's revolution and there's, you know, going and building a commune, like, you know, on a farm somewhere. There's lots of different, that's the thing, you do always have a choice, like in everything you do, but sometimes the choices are bullshit. Like,
one of my uncles actually was one of the officials who had to go up and defend the compound by obviously lying on national TV, and he just hated every moment of it. He was in full military regalia, you know, all of his stripes and stars and, you know, the things that he risked his life for, and he's like on national TV just talking absolute crap.
Yeah, you see, I don't want to be in that position. Like
you could see on his face, he didn't want to be there.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that happens to a lot of entertainers as well, and a lot of people in general, as they find themselves in positions where they're like, when they start out, they're idealistic, and then they like think the world's going to be this way, and then you make one compromise here, and you make one compromise there. And like, I've done that, you know, I've made compromises, and they made me feel dirty, so that's also why it's like now it's like...
There's a hard line. There's a hard line.
Relatively, but then I don't know, like a lot of stuff weighs on me, you know, the hard line weighs on me as well, because it's always like, am I hurting myself here? And it's like, it's always trying to play that balance of also, am I correct here? Am I right? You know, like, is this the right thing to do? What is the right thing to do here? So it's always a struggle. That is something that like plays on my mind a lot.
You still struggle with it now?
Yes, constantly.
Okay.
Like, what is the right thing to do here is definitely something I'm always considering, because it's also like I say, I'm not like naturally inclined to be a good person. Like, I'm from Mbilo, but like, we are bred to not be good people.
Okay.
You know, you're taught to fight, you're taught to steal, you're taught to like sell weed, and like that's how we grew up. Like, that's how I grew up. That's what I did growing up. Like, and
she's a criminal.
A little bit even more as an adult, you know? So it's like trying to like that was also the thing, like balancing these socialist ideals with like actually living in, you know, the neighborhood is quite interesting.
I just figured out this weird log line for your life. A bad man trying to be good in bad times.
If that was an 80s action movie, hella.
That's actually
Dolph Lundgren. Like,
that's actually.
I'm into it.
Justice, bro. You and me. The whole list. Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yes, bro. I get that nostalgia. Like so excited every time. Jean-Claude Van Damme actually liked one of my comments on his Facebook post.
Or whoever runs his.
I said so, but then one of my other friends, she said like, nah, you wouldn't believe how many celebrities actually run their own socials. And I was like, yes.
I wouldn't, because it's not that many.
Just let me have it, bro. Just let me have it.
I was MySpace friends with Emma Stone, so.
It's not a competition.
You're not.
He just said art is not a competition. Okay.
Yeah, we're not talking about art, we're talking about celebrity.
Oh, Bob is just Marcel. Isn't Bob just mopping the floor with me today? I just like.
I've had a drink, you haven't. So.
But bro, like MySpace, that's how long you've been coming, bro.
Yeah, dude, MySpace is like.
What was that? 2000 and.
I can't remember. 90s, 2000s, like. Yeah,
this obviously is before she's famous and she's trying to build up the.
Well, it was when
base.
Superbad was released, so I sent that young friend request and she accepted. You know?
Is that? I can just imagine Bob is the type of person that listens to that song. Stacy's mom has got it going on, and
why would you think that of me? Like after everything I've told you think I would listen to that song?
And Wheatus Teenage Dirtbag.
Once again, after everything I've said, you think that's my taste. Like, when I was at Joe Cool's, yes, I would sing along to that stuff. But no, I was listening to Pennywise. I was listening to NoFX.
Okay, well, we teased a little bit out of you, so it's enough. It's enough for me.
But yeah, man, MySpace was how I found, like, I found a space to, like, actually express myself, you know? Because before that at school, like, I felt very repressed and felt very misunderstood and, like, all of that. But then, you know, thanks to MySpace and forums, you know, you found subcultures. Even here in Durban, you know, you had the Durban Alternative Forum, which banned me eventually because I can't even remember what I said. I can't remember what I said, but I was always antagonistic. I was always causing shit. So like,
that's hardcore, bro. That is hardcore.
How's that hardcore? Getting banned from
the alternate, like the group of people, the clique who are like the most.
No, but they were older and they were like, you know, more mature, and I was young and radical and just like...
You were a little basically.
Yeah, basically burn everything down, you know?
Oh, you don't have one of the... What are they called? You're not a pyromaniac, are you?
A little bit when I was younger.
Oh, now you just like to burn other things.
Yeah, exactly.
You've channeled. I'm so proud of you. You've channeled your misdirection.
Yeah, no, like... I just don't I like my things now, so I don't want to set them alight anymore.
Okay, yeah, you probably worked very hard for your things as well, so kudos. Speaking of working hard, bro, yeah, that is also something I wanted to touch on. The Comedy Fest.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine the level of administration, public relations, and just generally the chaos of putting that all together, finding sponsors like Spa, eventually getting onto the morning breakfast show. Was it SABC 2 or SABC 3?
It was Morning Live.
Live, ETV, right?
No, it's one of the SABCs, but it's Morning Live.
But I mean, that is a massive, massive feat. When did this idea gestate? And I'm sure there must have been times where you felt like, screw it, I might just let this thing go, but...
Well, I mean,
what kept it together? What kept it together, and like who were your pillars of support? You know, like how did you get this thing rolling?
So like I've been involved in the music festival scene for a while. Like I've, you know, like put on day fests myself, and then I've also worked like with the likes of Zakifo, and then did a festival called Outland, and like I've been involved in that side of things quite a bit. And figured, well, comedy is the thing I do, so maybe I should, you know, start working in that sphere.
Yeah.
And also, I felt like there were enough comedians in Durban, because for a long time they weren't, you know, for a long time there were only like 10 comedians in Durban. And then we did the weekly stuff here, and that helped like actually grow things a bit.
I would say, yeah.
It felt like it was an expansion of that, essentially, of just like, cool, we've got these comedians, now let's actually put them on a stage. Let's actually give it prestige. You know, same thing with like Durban is yours. It's like, let's make this a thing. Like, because nothing's a thing until you make it a thing, you know? Like, you've got to tell people, like, you've got to legitimize something to people. So to try and like legitimize the comedy scene, it was like, the Heat City Comedy Festival, and that was kind of the idea. And early on, Carbon and I discussed it quite a bit, but he, you know, had his own career to focus on. Like, he was doing really well at the time. So
Still
I just
is.
I just kind of ran with it. But he's offered a lot of help and advice and stuff like that. And
I would say he's also another very, very generous person.
Yeah, he gives a lot of his time to a lot of different people. Like, it probably weighs him down more than he shows. But he's also someone who a lot of people ask for stuff from.
He's a man of the people.
Yeah, it's done him, like, that's the thing, it's done him well, but like I say, I think that would probably, if it was me, it would weigh on me a lot, like, to be in his position and to have so many people constantly, like, wanting stuff from you.
Yeah,
like,
you Cloud took your fuck it all pill, like, you know, just, you're done.
I'm not like, I'm like, fuck it all on a, like, scene level, on an industry level, on a, trying to be a part of community that might not necessarily have the same ethics, might not necessarily have the same ideologies and reasons for doing comedy and reasons for being a part of things. And so I'm trying to figure out at the moment what that means for me. Yeah. Like, I don't necessarily want to keep putting all this time and effort into other people and trying to grow like things, but maybe it's not necessarily possible, or maybe it's not possible for me to do it here. You know, like, maybe someone else can do it. Maybe
I think you've been doing it, bro.
But I don't know how much of an effect it's necessarily had. And, like, that's the thing. A lot of times it does feel not like a waste, because, like, I've grown and I've learned a lot, but maybe not for the better. Like, if that makes sense. You know, like, I feel worn down by a lot of stuff that's happened, and a lot of relationships and a lot of things that have happened from my abrasiveness and personality, as well as ideology, and other people and their abrasiveness and ideologies and stuff like that. So a part of me does just want to, like, go live in a mountain, you know, like.
Oh God, you know who sounds like that? Oh gosh, my girlfriend. She just wants to, like, dress in loincloth sometimes, like the way she talks to me.
Bro, that sounds fucking appealing sometimes. You know, it genuinely does. But at the same time, I love creating art. I do love, like, with the podcast, talking to other artists and stuff like that. I love engaging with art. I love being at shows. I love watching good comedy. I love watching good music, you know? And unfortunately, like, I just, in Durban, don't see as much as I would like to. Like, I mean, there's lots of good music, but the comedy, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like a disconnect from things. So that's where I'm at with that now. But, like, there's been a lot of good times, you know, before this. And there's been a lot of, there's times I look back on the Winston with a lot of love and a lot of pride. Like, you know, because we did underground comedy here for about 2 or 3 years.
Fondness, man, fondness.
Yeah. But it's just, eventually, you know, other people weren't putting in efforts, and everything falls on your shoulders all the time. And, like, you know, like, it gets draining. And I think a lot of other people in Durban will understand that and feel that. People who have tried to do different things probably, you know, feel the same way I feel after a few years of trying to do things, because I've hardly seen too much actually work out in the long term, you know? Yeah. Sorry for the downer.
Well, I mean, I was trying to directly ask, you know, where's your apathy level at? I think that answers it pretty succinctly.
I'm never apathetic, you know, like, I don't think apathy exists in my body. Like, I feel strongly about everything, every little thing, you know, like, I am one of those people that has opinions on everything. I've learned not to share them, and because
I think as you get older, you learn that.
It's also because I've learned that my opinion's probably wrong, like, a lot of the time, you know, because I've changed my opinion on so much stuff. Like, my 20s to my 30s, like, And to my teens, each time the person would be unrecognizable to like, the younger self. So I think that's obviously important. And so that's the thing, I might have my opinion at first and go, that's what I think. But then now I'll go and read about it and listen and, dive into a month-long series of YouTube videos. And then I still won't give my opinion anymore.
That shows, that you are a bit more mature, that you're willing to educate yourself rather than become part of the Facebook fact check team and write those long ass threads that take up half your day. Yes, there's so much energy people put into their keyboards these days.
That's the thing. I've been there so many times, and like, I'm just so over that. I'm so over wasting energy arguing with someone on the internet. Like, it's just not for me, man. Like, not anymore. Like, and I used to get my kicks out of it, feeling like, and everyone does. That's the whole reason why you do it, because you think you know more than the other person. You're not trying to.
I was there actually, and I think some of the biggest offenders are actually people in higher education. Whether you're a student. There are some
professors as well, yeah.
Yeah, but like, they also, it's a very closed off clique because they've mastered reasoning and logic and all these types of things. To a degree.
A certain type of reasoning.
And they can just whip out the vocab Bible and just like intimidate everybody. And it gets intense. But some of the people who transition from the academic to the professional spaces, especially people in law, I've seen them just like close down their Facebook accounts. Like they just get too busy.
If you're in law, there's no good that can come out of having a Facebook account. For what reason must you have a Facebook account? There's just a million ways to get sued, like every day.
Yeah.
I do worry about that a little sometimes. That's also why, my Twitter account now, I peeled a tweet a while ago, and they just haven't gotten back to me. So I'm not going to delete the tweet.
Yeah.
Like, I've appealed it 3 times now, and I think they're just like, well, we're not giving you a account back. And I'm like, I'm not going to delete it. So I'm no longer on Twitter as myself. My Facebook, I've deactivated again now. And Instagram stories are basically where you can find me.
Love your Instagram stories. Where you wake up yawning and you're just like, good morning, everybody, except this.
Yeah. It's a fun way to start the day.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, some of it, like the Taylor Swift comments were just, they had me rolling, bro, rolling.
But the thing is, I genuinely don't like Taylor Swift because I just see her as being fake and
We got a Kanye West here, everybody. Kanye's in white skin. Hello. Yeah.
I mean, I'm over Kanye too at this point, but I do see Taylor as fake or whatever. And here's the thing, you can like Taylor, and what does me saying something about it, making jokes about it when she's just released an album, she's a multi-millionaire, she's one of the most powerful women in the world. Me cracking some jokes shouldn't affect you or shouldn't affect her.
I just got one line for that, bro. Haters gonna hate. Okay, I'm done.
But exactly. That's the thing. She even knows it. Either way, I'm talking about her. I'm helping her brand. I'm now strengthening, the arguments. The people who like her are now more galvanized against me, so they like her even more. So I'm just helping her by dissing her.
Okay.
That's how it works. That's how the media works, bro.
Okay. Jeez. Well, I feel like this is an education for me right now. I'm such a noob. Marcel, I'm a noob. I don't even know how I got this sponsorship. But, man, there's just one more thing I'm going to ask so that we do not, pressure you too much to share so much of yourself as you've done over the past 10 years.
You just put a mic in front of me, I'm going to share, but yeah.
Okay. Final question, bro, and I think this is something that probably pertains to you personally, that I think I think that perhaps if I'm not mistaken, which I believe has guided your endeavors throughout, whether we're talking music, comedy, writing, the superficiality of life and all of this fake plastic, existence that we see, the Insta life, and people people just wanting to live out an existence that is not, it's not realistic, it's not feasible, it's not representative of the true reality in which we live.
I mean, I think I still get caught up in that trap, though.
Is it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. 100%, because I still have an image of myself, an ideological thing that I'm striving towards always, and trying to which might not necessarily be superficial to me, but might still have some level of superficiality because I don't know, like the real you thing is such a difficult question in general. Like we're all presenting something, like especially in this conversation, and like, but just the superficiality within everything else, within media, within all of that. It's like I definitely think like just media and consumption and capitalism essentially are the reasons why everything is headed that way. It's because they're just trying to sell you shit. Like that's the whole point of TV. It's like it's trying to sell you an ideal that you can't meet a lot of the time. Like obviously there is art within, visual media, or within television, within movies, within everything like that. But sometimes it's compromised by having to, like, look at something like The Simpsons, like how that's just deteriorated. But it used to be really political and really like subversive, but being on Fox. So there's all these things you've always got to play up. You've always got to
shout out to Rupert Murdoch.
Exactly. Like The Simpsons were making Rupert Murdoch more money whilst taking the piss out of him on his own TV channel.
I just want like a sliver of that man's money, and my life is made.
I mean, I think we should just take it all and redistribute it. Like,
hardcore socialism.
Well, no, that's not socialism. Like socialism is just like that would be communism. Like redistribution of wealth. Like socialism isn't necessarily that. It's just providing for everyone. It's just making sure that state is providing within structures using tax money and stuff like that, which is a form of redistribution.
Social democracy.
Which is not quite the same as taking some like everything and just putting it under state control. It's kind of doing it through taxes, which is sneaky doing that.
It's like that ad do you remember that old baked bean ad, that cool ad where that lady takes the last baked bean and redistributes it to the other kid's plate at a campfire? Yes.
I don't remember that. No.
So my brain is a useless repository for certain pop culture like references. Like
Neville, Mommy says it's time to get ready. You remember that one?
No, bro, but it sounds like you're coming deep with the ones from back then. Like.
Yeah, dude, that was a Standard Bank ad, like for cricket, like played constantly. Yeah.
Oh, you're a cricket fan. I forgot. Shame.
Well, yeah.
Proteas, shame. Yo.
Yeah, no, that's painful.
Yeah.
It's not about.
I mean, I used to play. I used to play youth cricket for Gauteng. Like I used to. Nice. I was in Gauteng trials as a kid, like 11, 12. And then my family had to up and leave and go to Australia. It was me and my brother. We were selected, and every Saturday morning we'd go to Queen's High, in like the poshest part of Josie, like manicured lawns. And some of the times, like once in a blue moon, like one of the senior guys in the men's squad would come and just like, just not give us pointers, but just be there. You just be excited as a kid.
Yeah.
Like Sean Pollock's like, and just like.
I had John Kent as my hockey coach in primary school, so.
Sus, bro. We special. So this creation of this like imperfect, reality, things that you can't be, and just trying to sell you stuff, but in the same vein, influencing you to be something you're not. Obviously, it must put you off, right?
Well, yeah, but it also it weighs on me a lot as to how much I'm a part of it and how much it's also I just don't know what the solutions are to anything. Like that's the thing. Like this is like essentially like postmodern thinking, like essentially with like Baudrillard and those kind of guys. Like signs and signifiers and how much that stuff impacts us and like how things how you will always be like our idea of love is so up by the movies, like I know when I was younger a lot of my actions were based on how I saw guys act in the movies. I thought this is how I'm meant to do it. Oof. So that's the thing, it's like how much of reality is reality anymore because of media. And so that's the thing, I don't even know what to be pissed off about anymore.
So the creation of almost perfect media, the almost perfect podcast, almost perfect media.co.za. You're right.
Perfect or coded say.
Okay, right. My bad. One demerit for me.
Just gonna make sure it's out there. Almost perfect.
Don't worry. We'll give you that segment in the end. It has not escaped my mind. But I mean, this whole silo this whole brand. Is this like your answer in a sort of counterculture way of against all of this commercial media that obviously is polluting our society?
Well, I don't know if
you
it's
go that
like,
far?
I wouldn't go that far. It's
Yeah.
like, it's just a space for me, like
Okay.
essentially to house all my stuff.
Okay.
Like,
It's
you know,
my room.
but, you know, I put out an audio press release that explained it a bit better than that. You know, it's like, it's a brand. We're a media house. And like, because
Okay.
that's the thing. That's what I do. I create lots of different kinds of media
Yeah.
in lots of different ways for lots of different reasons. And sometimes it is commercial reasons, but not that often. You know, a lot of the time I'm just trying to create things for myself and trying to hope that people appreciate it enough to like contribute to the Patreon and do it that way. You know, like I like that kind of model. I've always appreciated that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And as much as I can, I want to go towards that. You know, I'd much rather never have to take advertising money like ever again than, you know, take advertising money. But like I know if I want to eat, like sometimes I've got to make some decisions. So
This
that's the truth
episode,
of the
this
matter.
episode is proudly sponsored by.
Yeah, no, I mean that's your thing, you know.
Oh no, we out here like just dishing profanity, bro. Like, well, yeah. I mean, if there's an opportunity at this point, I'm unashamed. I'm unashamed to admit that if there's an opportunity which presents itself as enticing enough, I'm going to take it. I'm not.
Well, for me, it's like it depends on who people are and you know what they're offering, and also what I can do for them necessarily. You know, like will this actually benefit them to be a part of the podcast, and will it benefit me? Like, will
Yeah.
people, you know, like that's the thing. I would like happily work with small businesses that are local or that are part of the culture that I'm, you know, doing things with, but I'm not gonna say I wouldn't take money. Like if Savannah came and said, "Yo, we'll give you $100,000, you know, to do 10 podcasts or something," I would think about that a little bit. You know, I would have a conversation with myself because, yeah, that can do a lot with that money. Like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, that's not even that much. So it's like it's a lot, but it's not. And
You
it's
just
like,
got to put in that log line there. You know, it's dry, but you can drink it.
yeah, like that's the problem though. Is also like I just don't necessarily want to be associated with the things that everyone else is associated with, you know, the people that are trying to control everything, like,
Yeah.
and trying to own everything, you know, it's like, I'd rather work with a smaller brand that's up and coming, and then when they're big, I can tell them to themselves.
So you've just generally always been this contrarian, basically.
Essentially, but like, I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, especially because like I've been having some like public issues with things again, and you know, for a large portion of this year, I didn't. A large portion of this year, I just kept quiet and just shut my mouth. And like lately, I've been saying stuff, and it's been like, is this because of my ego? Is this because, you know, you genuinely have an issue here? Like, what is causing this a lot of the time?
You're
And,
very
like,
self-reflective, and that's
well, yeah.
deep, man. It's surprising. It's not something I thought.
Well, you
were
think
just,
everything just comes off the cuff?
I thought you were just this like.
You
Very,
don't know how many takes I've done of those Instagram stories. It looks like I just started just saying stuff, but nah, that was like the 5th take.
Oh my goodness!
I'm all about that superficial life. That's the long con. You don't know that.
Oh snap, ladies and gentlemen!
I'm being superficial by projecting not being
Bob
superficial.
Perfect actually admitting to being somehow part of the commercial structure
Of the
my gosh.
fakeness of everything. It's a lie. It's all a lie.
Okay, well, you're breaking my heart here, Bob. I thought you were just this clearly defined contrarian person who like is unapologetic.
I'm
and
even
is, like,
contrarian to being a contrarian.
I wouldn't be surprised maybe if there was like that black glove in the house to fight the power or something like.
I've definitely got artwork with the black power fist, yeah.
Okay. No, nah, you letting me just have that joke.
No, I rarely do.
And the last question, Gamer Boy, Magic the Gathering. I saw this man playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
This man, let it be known that this man still plays Pokemon Go.
Of course, I'm trying to get to level 40
And the
before the
thing
end of the
was-
year.
Our guy who like manages the space wasn't here, and we were waiting 20 minutes, and Bob was like, "No, I'll take a walk." And then when he pulled out the cell phone playing Pokemon Go, it clicked.
Well, I
This
had,
man
to
is
go, I had
out-
to go get Christmas gifts. I
This
had to go to
out-
Woolworths
you
to
are
get some
out
biscuits.
catching onyxes there by Musgrave Center.
I did hit a couple of excellent throws along the way. Yeah, definitely.
Magic the Gathering, though, like
Yeah.
that is the I was into Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm a lay it out on the flat. I used to have like a collection of like 700 Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but then I was also quite disappointed when people told me that this thing comes from Magic the Gathering.
It's well, kind of.
It's
Magic
kind
the
of
Gathering was the first
Yeah.
trading card game.
Yeah.
Like it was
And
created by Richard Garfield back in 25 years ago, or
on
whatever.
Yu-Gi-Oh, it's the field. In Magic, it's worlds, like whole worlds, isn't it?
Yeah,
If I'm-
well, you have different planes, like so. It's like the multiverse essentially.
Yeah.
Like like if you know Spider-Man or whatever,
Yeah.
it's similar to that. You can go to
Okay.
different worlds.
All
yeah.
right.
But I mean, that's not why you play it. Yeah, it's a trading card game that's essentially just like puzzle of maths against other people. Like
Puzzle of maths.
yeah, it's like a constantly changing maths puzzle, and like there's a lot of different variables. It's a lot of different things. Like you're constantly working out odds and probabilities, and then also trying to figure out what your opponent has, what they're going to do in response to what you're doing, what you're going to do in response to that. If they do this, then maybe I do
So
this.
it's like chess with monsters.
Essentially, but like it's
Okay.
got a bit more luck to it, so that's what makes it more interesting than chess in some ways. Because
Okay.
chess is the same game always; it's a solved game. So like it's there's
Excuse me.
ways to play it properly and whatever. Magic, there's always an opportunity that you are wrong. Like you can think you're taking the correct choice. You can like try and figure out what is the best line to like play to take here. And then you draw the next card and it's not what you needed, and the next card is not what you needed. But you've worked out that I need I've got a 1 in 3 chance of drawing this card.
You know what
and then
your
you go
problem
like
is,
6
Bob?
times and you don't even draw it. Yeah.
You know what your problem is, Bob?
What?
You don't believe in the heart of the cards.
I've believed in the heart of the cards and it has let me down.
Oh, that was some corny
That's
right
why
there.
I'm an atheist when it comes to the heart of the cards.
Oh no! What is your global ranking on Magic right now?
I haven't played in about a month or two, but
Because
I
I've
finished,
seen like you in the top like couple hundred.
Yeah, I finished in the top 250 about 2 months ago.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Like, I mean, I had some time, so.
Why don't you get sponsored for that though?
In South Africa, it's so difficult, and I would need like a better internet connection, and
Okay.
you got to stream, and you got to get viewers, and just whatever. Like, I just play it because I enjoy it, and
Okay.
it's one of those things that if I lived like in another country, maybe I would be able to take it seriously.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there is esports for Magic, right?
there is, but it's also one of the worst like prize pools for like people play Magic for pride. Like a lot of them, like
Okay.
even the professionals. Like there's some that are making a living off of it, but for the most part, it's a game played by like pretty smart people, and so like I
Yeah.
feel really chuffed with myself like when I play against like, and that's the thing, like when you're playing at the top levels of the ladder, you're playing against pros a lot of the time, and like when you get to beat someone who you've watched like playing on Twitch and at tournaments,
yeah.
like it feels really dope. And like
That's
that makes
gratifying.
you feel like hey, I'm not necessarily as good as them, but I can beat them sometimes, like, which is
Yeah, it's quite a not a rush, but it's it makes you puff out the chest a little bit.
exactly. And I think that's what most people play Magic for. It's one of those games that you play more like the prizes, no matter how good they are, have never been that good necessarily.
Yeah.
So it is one of those things where it is just you versus me and a little bit of luck in between,
Yeah. Well, not a gamer anymore myself, but like we used to play Counter-Strike in this one.
Oh, dude, I used to play at the Zone. I wasn't part of a clan. Like,
We used to play in this internet cafe where we knew the owners, and one of our best friends used to actually work there, so we knew all the passcodes.
I've had situations like that.
Oh, we wrecked that place. I think
I used to work at Cyberhaven for a while.
I think we ran it into the ground because we knew the passcode, and we just like
You
we'd
never
have
pay it.
overnight sessions and just play until like 4 a.m. and we got so good. There was this duo, or like there were two of these guys who came one night, and I don't know if they were just like talking absolute trash, or they just told us that they were like regional or national champions or something. Jeez, no man, we just mopped the floor with these guys.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
that happens a lot when you're a kid.
Headshots only, boss. Just
No, but I love that about like people, like especially when you're young, like the lies you tell. Like, oh no, I made my Natal colors in badminton, bro.
no, Exe. Just I feel there's less. If you do lie as an adult, you know that you like you're not gonna go and boast to the whole world, like.
Well, you can't anymore. Like, that's also, I think, something that's ruined celebrity in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Is that, like, we now know these people. Like, we can see them all the time, constantly, even if it's a superficial facade. Someone like James Dean, no matter how much is written about them, you still don't know who he is.
Well, he's just become this poster boy for
exactly. He's actually
youth.
probably more fake now than, like, even, your Kim Kardashians or whatever, because he's only this symbol. He's only this ideological thing.
I saw this weird thing in Hollywood when, like, very marketable celebrities or famous celebrities that are deemed marketable, once they die, there's this entity that takes over their image.
Okay.
So I don't know what this company is, but they're the ones that make the posters and the toys and all of the trinkets and facilitate tours of their properties, and if they can, they'll like buy their cars, and then they're the ones that curate the cars off in like a Sotheby's auction or something, and they make the little mugs and stuff. No offense, I know you with the mug game, dog, but like Michael Jackson, James Dean, I'm sure Kobe Bryant must be there somewhere, unless these stars have their own team,
trusts or whatever,
their own team or family trust that obviously takes over that. But if the person to some extent was daft enough not to have their own team, this I don't know what this Hollywood thing
but
is.
even before that, like, so many people were paid to keep stuff out of papers and stuff like that.
I heard Eddie Murphy was bad though, like. That's why I loved Ray Donovan. Ray Donovan was insane.
Don't really know Ray Donovan.
Liev Schreiber, Sabretooth, he plays this fixer that is basically for hire for anyone in Hollywood who's just like, who's up badly. Like,
oh, what movie is that from?
It's a series, bro. Go check it out. It's the same. It's from Showtime. It came just after the ending of Dexter, which is coming back for another season, by the way.
Yeah, but that show went so downhill.
I'm hoping they can rectify it, bro. I'm hoping they can rectify it.
We'll see.
But yeah, those are some of my favorite shows. But it's been such a pleasure, bro, Bob.
Yeah, it's been a cool chat. It's just flown by.
As a person, like someone who's like got this, man-child gaming part of themselves. Also someone who's very reflective and pursues their curiosity amongst a range of interests. Also someone who's given so much of themselves to the city, helped so many people, helping me just by being here. You've been very generous, bro, and I'd love to send a vote of thanks. So thanks, brother.
Well, yeah, dude. Thank you for.
This table's a bit long. And any socials, links that you would like to add on? Any stuff you've got going on, you can.
Firstly, just thank you, for having me here. This is really
ladies
cool.
and gentlemen, almostperfectmedia.co.za.
almostperfect.co.za
and
then just social media. You can find us Almost Perfect ZA on Twitter, Almost Perfect Media on Instagram, Almost Perfect Media on Facebook. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I am Almost Perfect Bob there.
Okay.
But other than that, not
this
really
guy has the
socials.
best Instagram stories, by the way. This Instagram stories are lit.
That's it's debatable.
Right.
You
laugh, you'll cry.
You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll get upset, you'll say F this, or you'll block me, then you'll unblock me. It happens. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, that Elton John song. What am I gonna do to make you love me?
But other than that, almost perfect.co.za. I'm gonna have more stuff on there. I'm also writing.
There's some more like private stuff there we saw that you did with your other friend who also happens to be nicknamed Bob.
Which I'm not too sure what you're talking
script, bro. I saw the script.
Oh yes. We're doing that, so that's going to be...
But I mean, I don't want to announce.
People know about it.
Okay.
Like we've been working on the cartoon with Sheldon Bankston.
Yeah.
Although I say we've been working on it. He's been working on it, and I've just been coming and saying, add this word here. that's most of my
Bob
involvement.
So much. Sheldon Bankston, I owe that man a lot right now. I really, really, really do.
Yeah, no, he's a real one, and he's really funny, and he's really smart, and I've enjoyed working with him a hell of a lot. So we're working on a cartoon. We're hoping it actually becomes a thing. We're quite far along in the beginning parts of the process. We've recorded stuff. We've got an animatic. So we're gonna see how that goes. And other than that, yeah, I'm writing scripts. I'm writing stuff for myself. I don't know what I'm actually doing next, to be completely honest.
Yeah, because you've been in the film space. You're getting into the film space. It's good to see you there, bro. It's good to see you.
Well, I'm trying the writing side, but also I'm learning as much as I can about directing and seeing what that might offer. But yeah, being in Durban makes that difficult.
Like, understandably so.
So getting that experience and those sorts of things. But yeah, actually, I do have a script for a short film that I want to see if I can get it done for and submit it for diff, but I don't know just yet.
All right, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Perfect on technically what is the first episode of Feel Durban.
Durban Feels.
Durban Feels. Oh, well, I'm still working on it because Bob just ragged on me
Reveal
for the name
Durban,
choice.
Bro.
Reveal it. Might be a bit ugly.
Yeah. You don't even need to go far to find some ugliness. You can just walk outside.
Yeah, Bob Perfect, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like we had I think we've had too many laughs at the expense of this town, which I'm trying to promote. But it was real.
Yeah, chat to someone younger, more hopeful, and who hasn't been worn down by reality. And I think you'll get what you're looking for.
Okay, thanks, Bob. It's been wonderfully, tastefully sarcastic. So many laughs. I really enjoyed it, man. You're actually one of the people I do want back on the show because there is that the very dark, humorous side of me that loves to engage with other dark souls. But thank you for coming through, man.
Cool. Once again, thank you. Oh, balls.